Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about my new art workflow and the changes I've recently made to my setup. Today I'll be painting Speedpaint's mascot Fenix to test out a new pen display tablet I recently got. Alright, so if you didn't realize, this kind of preludes to the type or the brand of tablet I got. So stick around till you figure. It's kind of obvious. I got an XP pen tablet. All right. Okay. So if you didn't know, I primarily worked on the iPad 2018 for all my digital art. I started this channel using it as my primary device. However, I got into digital art with a Wacom Intuos Draw, which was great while it lasted. I had zero problems with it, and I had it for over 5 years before I sold it, and it worked extremely well up to that point. Well, hopefully it should work extremely well to the person I gave it to as well, which should be good. However, it doesn't have a screen, and from the moment I laid eyes on that iPad, from the moment I drew on the iPad, I knew in my heart I couldn't go back to a regular drawing tablet. So just a random tip: you don't need a pen display tablet to make really good art. Things just worked out in my life that I was able to get a pen display tablet sooner than I expected, but you definitely don't need something as expensive as a pen display or an iPad to do digital art, definitely. Alright, so let's talk about why I switched from the iPad to a pen display tablet from XP Pen. So there are two main reasons as to why I decided to make the switch, which are the size of the iPad and the available art programs on iOS. Okay, so when I got the iPad, I didn't have a laptop, so it worked out pretty well because, as you may already know, you need a computer to use a pen display tablet. But having used the iPad for about a year for my digital painting, I realized that its biggest limitations were the art programs that are available on iOS. Plus, I am not an iOS kind of girl. I'm all about that Windows life. So the iPad really just wasn't my cup of tea. It really wasn't. I mean, I loved it for drawing, but everything else not so much. So the iPad just really couldn't do a lot of things that a desktop art program could do, because the developers had to make a lot of compromises to make the apps work on the iPad. I mean, if your art isn't that demanding for particular features, then you should be fine. But since I'm trying to get into concept art and environment design, I really needed the features of a full art program. Another thing about the iPad that I have is that it's pretty small. It's a 9.7-inch display tablet, iPad, whatever, and it gets a little bit uncomfortable to use at times. But I should point out that if I could get a full art program on iOS, then that has a really intuitive UI, then I probably wouldn't have made the switch. No, probably. I really still love Windows and Android devices, so I probably would have made the switch either way, because I'm not that really into iOS. I'm not into the Apple ecosystem like other people. So it would be okay if I made the switch, but I would have tried to use the iPad for a bit longer and saved a bit more to get something probably more expensive but better than what I got. Alright, so on to XP Pen. So I have the XP Pen Artist 15. No, I don't have the 15. No, I have XP Pen Artist 16 Pro. That's what I have. It's a 15.6 inches display tablet, and it has 8 express keys. It comes with 2 rechargeable pens, which is great, a pen holder, which is also great, an artist glove, which is excellent, a cleaning cloth, which I need, and a bunch of cables to connect to your computer. Yeah, you all need that. Okay, so right now it's about $100 cheaper than the iPad 2018 plus the Apple Pencil bundled together. So it kind of wins the price game, but since you have to have a computer to use it, the price will go up depending on whether or not a computer is accessible to you, available to you. Yeah, that's the word. It has a bigger screen than any iPad you can get right now. I think the largest iPad out there was a 12. I don't think they made a 13. No, I don't think so. I think the 12 was the largest, and the latest iPad is about 11 something, I think. Alright, so it's definitely better in that regard. Size is it's just the right size, I'm telling you. 15.6 inches, I thought it would have been small. I really wanted the XP Pen 22E, but I realized that first of all, it's more expensive and I just did not have that because I had to buy a laptop as well as the tablet. So I realized that it doesn't make much sense to buy a 21 inch display tablet because I don't even have that kind of space on my desk to put that huge tablet on. So I decided to just opt for the 15 inch because I knew I couldn't go any smaller. I just knew it. I did not want to jump from a 9.7 inch iPad to a 13 inch pen display tablet. I just knew it. Or a 10 or a 12. I just knew I needed something either 15 or above. And I thought the 15 inches was going to be pretty small, but it wasn't small at all. It was pretty good. So if you're wondering if the size is just gonna be a hindrance to you, it won't. It's like the perfect size. 15.6 inches is the perfect size to get you started. Like when you get more money and your art starts making money for you, then you can upgrade. But if you want to start out with a pen display, I highly recommend that size. Highly. Alright. One thing I must say about the iPad is that it has a better drawing experience than the XP Pen tablet. Parallax is a real thing on XP Pen, and for a person coming from the iPad, it really takes a lot to get used to. After a while, I did get used to painting with the XP Pen tablet, which I found to be more enjoyable than on the iPad. Which a lot of these things are just related to the art program you're using, just want to say. But it just feels so good. It feels so good to paint on the XP Pen than it does on the iPad. But because it has so much parallax, doing line work was not that much fun at all. The iPad for me was better at the line work or the line art just because it doesn't have the parallax problem. Unfortunately for me, I don't really focus a lot on lines. I don't. Like once I draw a line, it's probably going to be sketchy because I'm going to paint over it. But I really should practice doing better line work. But whenever I do line work, it feels much better when I do it on the iPad. It really does. Because the iPad, just coming out of the box, the iPad is much easier to get used to writing on and to get used to drawing on. So it's like you can, even with the stabilization on the XP Pen, the cursor is almost always offset by some, I don't even know, but it's almost always not directly under the pen for me. Even though I calibrated, it just always happens to me. So the drawing experience, to get the precise line work, it feels a little bit weird. Like I have to be compensating in my mind, like around the clock, just to do something that looks presentable in terms of lines. But with the iPad and the Apple Pencil, that line is just, if it's offset, I can't see it. I can't see if the cursor is offset or not, because it just looks precise. It does. It feels precise, it looks precise, and that's what it has over XP Pen. So you might be wondering, which one should you get? Well, that just depends on you. That depends on what you need it for. That also depends on what you have. It depends on your budget. So if you can't afford a good computer, then definitely go with the iPad and the XP and no. Go with the iPad and the Apple Pencil. That's what you should go with if you can't afford a good computer. It works well. I mean, and plus it's not a replacement for a computer. But if you really are desperate, like how I was, it can work as a pretty good replacement. You just have to know that you're not going to do certain things on it. But you can work around a lot of the things that you can do on a desktop, and you can somehow manage to fit it onto your iPad. I did. It was uncomfortable, but I did it anyway. So if you really, really, really just can't afford a computer, then definitely just buy the iPad and the Apple Pencil and just do some research and figure out how you can do some things on the desktop to be able to do it on your iPad. If you can afford a good computer that isn't laggy, it just needs to not be laggy at all. The reason why I stopped using my Wacom Intuos Draw was because my old computer was super laggy. Like I was unable to draw straight. If I drew a line, it would take me about 15 to 20 seconds for that line to appear on the screen. It was ridiculous. So I would just recommend you get a laptop or a computer that isn't slow at all, just to make the drawing experience better for you. Once you can afford that, then definitely spend the money on the pen display. Why not? But if you have never done digital art before, I would definitely recommend you not get any of these tablets. Don't get any. Just don't. Just buy a small, regular, cheap graphics tablet. I think you can get some cheap ones on Amazon for around $20 probably. I'm not sure, but they're pretty inexpensive. It will really help you to get used to drawing digitally, get your experience in and stuff like that, without having to make a huge investment. So if you one day decide you don't like digital art, then you won't feel like you wasted $100 or $200 or $300 on a tablet that you probably never use again. However, the iPad, you probably use it again, so maybe if you're going to waste your money on anything for digital art, you probably should waste your money on that. Because you're going to use it again. It's not like I don't know about you, but if I one day decided that I wouldn't do digital art again and I only had an iPad, I would use it for other stuff. Just saying, it can be used for other stuff other than drawing. But personally, if you don't have the money and if you're just trying to get your foot in, I'm just saying, just go with something that's really cheap, something that you just won't feel like you have lost money when you stop using it one day. Okay, so overall, I really love the Speedpaint tablet and I hope it lasts me for a few years before I upgrade to anything else. So thank you guys for watching this video. I really hope it was informative and helpful in some way. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you do subscribe, remember to click the bell icon so you can get notified every time I upload a video. So thanks for watching, guys, and see you in the next one. Goodbye.